All right, let's talk gold this afternoon on Central Valley Talk. I'm Mike Scott, joined by Abdul Muhammad, who's going to tell us about Karatbars. It's a way for you to own gold. You know, gold right now is about, what, 12.60 an ounce? Most people can't afford to spend that much. You've come up with a way where folks can buy gold just a little bit at a time and accumulate it over time.
Correct. Actually, this is an exciting time because whereas 1% or less of the population has had that resource, that psychic thing of element, that's probably the most important element that we have. I mean, because gold has a factor about it that it is a currency, the only currency. I mean, I could have some plutonium, it's good for maybe the nuclear bomb. I could have maybe aluminum, good for helping make an airplane, okay?
You can't go into Macy's and buy something with it, though, yeah.
Exactly. Whereas there's a saying by Aristotle, and he said for money to really be good, it needs 5 qualities. That would be, first of all, durability. Gold has been proven to be durable for over 3,000 years with a total history of 6,000 years. And he said it needs to be something that's consistent, meaning that it has a stability about it. Also, it needs to be durable. Durable means does not, you know, we could have wheat as money, but wheat would rot, and of course, short lifespan, etc. We could have, as a matter of fact, you know, at one point in time, salt was actually used as money.
Salt, yeah.
And that's how we got the term salary, behind salt. He also said that for money to be consistent, it needs to be convenient. Up until now, gold has not been convenient for the masses. Simply could not afford it.
You don't want to carry a gold bar around with you.
Exactly. And so with Karatbars International, a 5-year-old debt-free company out of Stuttgart, Germany, doing business now in 123 countries around the world with only one product. That product is gold. But it's gold that's considered transactable gold. It is gold that's considered private gold, in that it has the capacity to be transacted in day-to-day business concerns or business needs. Whereas if I had gold from the commodity exchange, I have a certificate, and obviously I can't spend a certificate, and I have only the idea with that certificate representing that I have something. With Karatbars, you have physical access in that it can be delivered, FedEx, so they secure, or you can have it stored there with them in their storage free forever, and just accumulate and accumulate and accumulate. The other thing Aristotle said about gold is that it needs to be something that has value. That's what he said about money. It has value, but that value is consistent, and nothing has proven consistent in value throughout the history of civilization for man but gold. Nothing. So this is another thing that comes up. Many people will say, well, you know, you're talking these little small quantities of gold, a gram or 2.5 grams or 5 grams of gold. How is that any kind of value? Well, the reality is I cannot, nor can most people, afford what would be in Fort Knox or down on Manhattan in the Federal Reserves, because that gold will set you back just for 1 troy ounce of it, $500,000 or more. And when you're talking the commodities exchange, like you said, today, about $12.60. How many people can even come up with $12.60? And you're only talking about one, of course, certificate in reality and not actual gold. So Karatbars has become a category changer. The other important thing is you want to know that what you are buying is representing safety and security. So many people will say, well, how do I know that this is real gold? Well, it is LBMA, London Bullion Market Association, certified gold. That means it's 99.9% pure 24 karat gold. It is something I can and you can now begin to orientate our grandchildren and children to have a real true saving account, not only that, true money or wealth that is not subject to inflation or hyperinflation. So someone said, hey, gold went down 4% past 2 weeks. Well, when you're talking about gold going down 4%, gold will never lose its value. So when we had the bubble burst in 2008, gold shot up to about $1,900
An ounce.
an ounce. And why is because when everything else began to lose its value, that's when gold shines the brightest. And it has a very bright golden reflection on those who have it, in that the exponential growth of the money can be staggering. A good example of that, as I said at some point before, when we talk about, i.e., if my grandparent or your grandparent had gotten for us some gold in 1936, that today would be $4.3 million. If they had $100,000 in a saving account for us today, about $2,000. Okay.
The gold was the better investment.
Absolutely.
wasn't it?
And when you talk about the reality of our currency, and this is not by hypothetical, this is by their on kind of evaluation of the dollar. As of 2012, about 3 cents. Today, technically, about 2.5 cents. So when you are saying, I have money, we really have something that is not backed by gold. That gave our money, i.e., not for us directly, but for the international global market, countries to country, it gave our money at the time a redeemable value of, say, $35 minimum before it was taken off the gold standard. Now we have no gold, therefore we only have what is the standard of faith, meaning as long as the society has some faith in it, then it's considered with some value. The problem is now we're in a global economy, and global economy, meaning countries and nations and people, are having a great disparity in the idea of faith in our dollar. And we can see with the Greeks, and we can see with the Spanish, we can see with Puerto Rico and other countries that haven't even been announced, that faith, when we get into economic crises, is not going to work.
Right.
So that dollar, i.e. with the coming devaluation minimum, if not total collapse, it's not going to work.
Right.
This guy, Robert Kiyosaki, you might have heard of him, wrote Rich Dad, Poor Dad. He has just put out a new book, which he indicates that in the very short future, our dollars will be nothing more than basically paper that we can use to start a fire and just burn as trash.
Can't do that with gold.
Can't do that with gold.
Before we run out of time, you brought a video that kind of
Thank you.
shows some of the folks that are involved with this.
Correct.
Let's take a look.
Hello, and welcome to another special edition of Checks and Balances TV. Today we're pleased to interview investigator Jack Baher from Yakima, Washington. Mr. Baher has an extensive background in marketing and is a recognized authority in uncovering scams and frauds. For the last 20 years, Jack's mission has been to protect as many Americans as possible from scams, con artists, and Ponzi schemes. Some of his investigations have brought down huge multi-million-dollar firms that never suspected that one man's initial efforts could stop them dead in their tracks. One of the companies Jack investigated and put out of business was Equinox International, who ended up on ABC's 2020 with Hugh Downs and John Stossel. Jack Baher is a man that the bad guys don't want to hear from, but we certainly do here at CBTV. Well, Jack, welcome to Checks and Balances TV.
Appreciate it, Matt. Thank you very much.
It's great to have you here. We really stand behind helping consumers across the country to make good decisions with their money. That's what we're all about. And so it's a privilege and an honor to have you here to help Americans to watch out for the bad guys and to investigate companies properly and know when to say yes and know when to say no.
All right. So, Karatbars International, the name
Right.
of the company.
Correct.
What would you like folks to know before we go?
Number one, Karatbars International is a reputable, debt-free company. Number two, you cannot do anything more advantageous for your current, today financial security, as well as your children's financial security than to
Invest in gold.
Invest in gold. And although we say invest, the reality is invest is only used because sometimes people buy what we call stocks in gold mining firms. But really, when you're talking about gold, you're not really investing. You're actually putting your money for once in a real saving account. And therefore, whatever happens tomorrow, that 5%, 10%, 20% that you've set aside in Karatbars, you will have ability to go about your concerns financially and economically while everyone else is in, I would call it, difficult and horrific times of no resource, because the only resource will be gold. That's with governments, that's with businesses, etc.
Okay, we've been showing the information on the screen as to how folks can find out more about Karatbars International. Abdul Muhammad, thank you so much
Thank
for coming
you
in
very
today,
much, Mike. My
sharing
pleasure.
with us. We'll be back with more on Central Valley Talk.